Welcome to the Free Range Families Podcast, where we, Britt
and Christina, show you the beauty of homeschooling through a lens of faith
and freedom,
and always a bit of humor.
Welcome to Free Range Families Podcast in a very different setting.
We're outside today
We're outside.
because we have Outdoor Anthony on. Welcome, Outdoor Anthony. Is that how we call you, or
Ooh,
Anthony
me?
Porter?
No,
Yeah.
you can call me whatever you want. Yeah. At this point, when I dream, it's a little bit of both names people call me, which is kind of fun. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we want to talk about your latest book, right? It's your latest book, your children's book.
Yeah, latest and only currently.
And only, but not maybe.
Yeah,
Future
we'll
books?
Future books for sure. It's just a matter of seeing the interest and what people want to have. So this is my
I
little.
have some ideas for you, but we'll talk about that later in the interview.
Beautiful. I've got a little. This is it right here. Oh, is it reversed on this camera? Anyways, it's my epic nature
it's
journal.
great.
Good. It's my epic nature journal, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It looks
Oh.
cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been getting a lot of good responses from kids on social media being like, hey, I colored in your book today and it was really fantastic. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
sweet, I'm doing it.
that's awesome. Where can we find the book? Let's just kick it off with that.
Man, we're plugging it right away. I
Yeah.
love
We're
it.
plugging it right
I don't
away.
waste any time, you
We are
know,
straight
like,
shooters.
We want to promote this book because we love everything outdoors. So
Yeah, you can look up My Epic Nature Journal on Amazon, and it's one of the top ones right now, which is rad. But also, you can find it at Target. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. Oh boy, where else can you find it? There's a lot of I think thriftbooks.com, a lot of different smaller websites as well. But anyways, if you just Google My Epic Nature Journal, or you can find it on my social media page, then it'll
We'll
be
link all of that too. Don't worry.
okay,
Sweet. That's it.
pretty cool. Okay, well, we want to know all about you. So that's what we're gonna. We have our lists, and I'm gonna get lost
ahead.
if I don't.
I know.
Okay, so who are you, and how did you get into the world of everything outdoors? And I'm
Yeah.
starting from there.
I know.
Oh boy, who am I? We gotta start with a loaded question.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the existential
Okay.
sense, but just,
Because we've been trolling, right?
We have been
And
trolling.
so we've seen your videos, and so we kind of had an idea of how that, and it's pretty satirical and pretty funny, right?
Yeah, I try to make people
How
laugh.
did
We
you
love
get
humor.
into that? Yeah.
Yeah, so it really started off, I think my parents just put me into plays and stuff when I was younger instead
Oh.
of sports as much. I got into that a bit later, but essentially it just kind of was this pointed thing where I just had all these skills and I wanted to push them into one medium. And I love nature. I love making people laugh. And just combining that to educate people to get outside to help save the planet, help conserve the planet, however you want to put it. It just kind of all fell into itself. And I started going viral on some really silly videos. And then I was like, you know what, we could make this a real thing. And so I kind of doubled down on it. And now we're doing brand deals and books and appearances.
Crazy.
And press and public. So it's just landslided. But at
It's
this
crazy
point,
awesome.
I'm just
It's
trying
amazing
to
how when
educate people and get 'em
you
outside.
find what you love and you go for it, it all falls into place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this one specific time I was backpacking in Washington. I was all by myself. It was raining for 3 days straight, and I was just sitting under this tarp. I didn't even bring a tent. I was just sitting under this tarp, and I'm like, how am I going to fix my life? And so I was like,
sounds
get all my
terrible.
skills and just push all of my skills into one avenue and just double down on everything. And I did that, and it worked out great. So here we are. Yay.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
What's the book? Into the Wild. That reminds me of Into the Wilds, just going out, except for, did you have rice with you?
No.
Nothing.
Hopefully
just
I'll
a tarp.
live.
Well, cool. Okay, you shoot. Next
All right.
question.
So you talked a little bit about your background and where how you kind of came this way, but where did you learn all of these outdoor tips and the different things that you're talking about in your funny videos and in your book?
How to poop in the woods.
love that.
I mean, that's just trial and error, or
You know, if
And
you
I mean, not
surround
the
yourself-
specifics, but
Oh, I could give you specifics.
I know you could. Trust me.
I really started. I grew up as a little Boy Scout boy, doing all the Boy Scout things, and then became a Eagle Scout. Went to school in actually northern Arizona in Flagstaff for basically conservation. The entire mouthful of it is Parks and Recreation Management with an emphasis in outdoor education and leadership.
cool.
Which means I don't it didn't
Which
help
means
me.
you learned about the outdoors, and that's about.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, just surrounding yourself with people that like really are out there, and like if you're like, oh, I really want to get into like knitting, well, surround yourself with as many knitters as possible, and you'll get to that point where you can knit. But like, so that was me with conservation, and I just joined a bunch of like clubs and groups when I was younger, and then certain things just stick. And yeah, how to take a poop on the floor of the woods.
That's like my favorite one that I saw. But I
Well,
think it's the last one.
Brittany has a favorite quote that, everything is easier to swallow when it's wrapped in bacon. And like, that's how we feel like yours. Because bacon makes it's meat candy, makes everything better.
So it's okay.
So it's like your satirical videos are awesome because I think they appeal to so many people who like they want to learn about it, but a lot of times, especially for preteens and teenagers, and I know your book is geared towards the younger kids, but I feel like my boys, I have a 13 and a 15-year-old, and they've watched some of your videos and they can't stop laughing. They love them. They're like, this is great.
Actually, he reminds me a little bit of my oldest son.
Yeah.
So like we're really outdoorsy. Like my husband probably could win. What's the one in the not Naked and Afraid because he wouldn't be naked.
There's
Survivor.
Alone.
No, Alone.
Yeah.
Alone and
That's
Afraid.
the one. Like hardcore. Yes, and so I watched some of your videos and it's funny.
I love it.
He rubbed Mullen on his face for toilet paper.
Nice.
It's really soft.
It's really
It's
fun.
funny. I mean, I think it's really hard to find demographics because like I got my master's in marketing, and so I'm trying to find like these demographics and these market segments and like all these niches, right? And so I'm thinking like not everyone cares about how to create a shelter outside. Like that's niche.
Yes.
But the fact that I can bacon wrap it, like you said, like in humor and comedy, and then deliver it in a way that's silly enough to where anybody can enjoy it. It's kind of a fail-safe, honestly. It's almost a cop-out, but I think I'm doing it well to be like, if you don't enjoy the actual fact of the video, like you're gonna giggle anyways. So that's my little caveat. Like if you're not laughing, you're gonna learn, and if you're not learning, you're probably gonna laugh anyways. So
yeah,
and
it's better
to laugh and learn at the same time. I'm just saying.
There's
nothing wrong with that.
Definitely well received that way. Well, you're doing a great job. It's super funny.
Thanks.
So then we're on D. Okay.
Somewhere in D.
It's why I wore my chicken shirt because my brain floats off. We believe anything. Oh, you already said
I
that.
know. We're on the what is the importance of getting unplugged?
Okay, what's the importance? Okay, so you have to deal with us. We haven't had our coffee yet, Anthony. So that's
That's not true. I've had my coffee.
I haven't had coffee.
That's why I can remember where we are.
And coffee helps my brain, my ADD, think, which is the opposite. But what's the importance of getting unplugged? So you talked a little bit about like getting outside. We really, we homeschool our kids, so we're outside.
We're big hikers. They're big hunters and homesteaders, and we're all about outdoors.
A generation of children that live on the screen. So it's nice to see videos. I think it's like an oxymoron, contraindicating. I mean, you're watching outdoor stuff, but they're learning about it.
And hopefully inspiring them to get out.
Yeah.
So what do you
think about this? What's the importance of getting kids unplugged today?
Yeah. Oh man, what a loaded question. And I think there's a lot to it cognitively. I mean, obviously just like mental capacity, you just get brain fog after a while of being on the screens all the time. So I think just in terms of like childhood development, I used to write curriculum for like nature education places and institutes, and I swear like that's the number one thing that we have to teach is like experiential sensory learning.
Yes.
It's not about what you can see and like hear. It's about what you can feel, what you can smell. Like there's so much more to our bodies that we're just not utilizing.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Like having a kid on their phone all the time is like using a car for the radio. Like you're not using your whole body to what it can be. So there's that side to it. Also, like, just health of being outside. You don't understand, like, you guys probably do, but, like, a lot of folks don't understand the benefits of just, like, being dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It has insane effects on your health that is beneficial. I did a video about the benefits of swimming in natural water sources as opposed to, like, pools.
Right.
There's, like, these microbiomes. It really helps your gut. It's just, like, this whole slew of stuff. And yeah, I mean, however your religious beliefs lean, or if you don't have religious belief, we all can agree that we were not meant to
No.
sit there and sit
We were
in a
not meant to
sanitized
just
room
take in
with your phone.
information. We were meant to take it in and do something with it and be out there and give back.
Well, no,
Yeah,
we're meant
so-
to breathe in God in every orifice. There we go. Yes.
So,
And
I mean, for me, it's like it is like that, like breathing through every, well, I guess I'll say orifice too, but yeah.
She went there. Now he's like, I can't do this. I can't
I
say
forgot
it
who we're
without thinking
interviewing.
something.
I guess like part of like who I am and what I want to show people who I am is like, number one, like I'd like to think that I'm a successful person, but I do get to go outside and I do have all these other avenues of getting out. So I try to make like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? Like I do want to go out and do that stuff. Yeah, I sat on my phone last night for an hour, but like it's because I had to edit some videos and stuff. But it's a curse a little bit because now I'm forced to film and stuff when I go outside. But I try to do my very best to just be an example of someone that can get outside to show people that it's possible. Kids in like inner city LA that are watching my videos, they might not even fathom the fact that you can go outside and go for a walk for fun. You know, they just might not have that opportunity. So showing them that that's the reality. That's important.
you were absolutely right, because there are kids that I have come across that have never been outside for 24 hours
Right.
camping. Like not even,
Or just
they don't.
have never gone for a hike in nature, have just never been completely surrounded by nature.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was
Yep.
talking about this on a previous interview, but like the advantage of not just being like, here, kid, like throw them into nature, be like, this is everything, like you need to love this, but instead like, if they want to play on their phones, like sure, but do it on a park bench outside, or like segue them into it, or be like, hey, if you really like doing your favorite sport or whatever their favorite thing is, like Legos or whatever, bring it to the park. Like you don't need to be sitting in a sanitized, carpeted room to do that. And
Nope, get some sunshine.
yeah, just segueing slowly into the fact that they feel an identity of comfort with the outdoors.
Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it. You're up.
Oh, okay. So obviously we homeschool. Homeschoolers are big on exploration, adventure, especially when you are in an area that you can do it, like our lovely background. And we're big on outdoor play, which is kind of what you were just talking about. Getting outside, even if you're just doing the little things that you're doing day to day. I mean, we take our books outside. Like I kick my kids outside to do their reading and to do their, language arts. Like, yeah, take it outside and go. So we're excited that you reached out because we think that this is just such a great way to introduce you to our homeschooling families that watch us, but also to give them some inspiration on how to educate with the outdoors. Because I think a lot of people maybe want to include more of this and are unsure of how do we do this. Like you said, it's kind of daunting in the grand sense of like, oh, now I need to go plan an overnight camping adventure, but I've never done that. Or I need to go plan an 8-mile hike. I've never done that. Like, no, like baby steps. And how do we do this? So talk about your book a little bit more, because I think it's easier for the older kids to kind of look at your videos, but with the younger kids and to our younger families that are watching, how can it help them with like getting those curriculum ideas and what to do?
Yeah.
And what is the age
For your book.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
who's it geared
totally.
toward? Okay.
I would say, it's hard. I think assisted, I think a huge advantage of this book is I made it to where parents could do it with their kids. And so they don't have to be super literate in order to do that. My nephew, who's 4 now, maybe 3, I'm a bad uncle. He uses this book, but he does it with his parents. So a lot of the pages are like, what did you see today? And then it's going to be a big square you can draw in. Let's see if I can pull it to the right page. Oh my God, I did it.
Can. Yes.
So
Look at
they
that.
can draw. If they think they're drawing an avocado or whatever they saw that day, like that's awesome. And then they could, with the help of their parent, like on the next page it goes like, today I sensed, today I felt, today I heard, today I tasted. So it's kind of like this, it's not like inherently like go outside and do this, like you need to be outside. It's just getting in touch with your body, getting in touch with your senses. And then the activities actually do get you outside, where it's like, hey, listen, you did all these things with your senses. Now let's figure out how to find a leaf outside and color the leaf so you can see the vascular nature of, I'm using big words, but.
No.
We like big words.
We like big words. Yeah. We get it.
Kids can handle big words. I'm a science person. I was a science teacher, so like.
Yeah.
We're both teachers.
Yeah, we're both
actually.
former teachers,
we're both
so
former teachers.
we love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on your bio on Instagram, actually. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, your teacher's going rogue. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it could be for kids that don't actually know how to read yet, and they could just color and talk to their parents about it. Or it could be, I think I went up to, somebody just sent me a video of their 11-year-old doing it, which is rad. That's super cool. There's a lot of different activities that can challenge you. So some of them are basically based off of how like old you are. So there's one about like how long can you hang on a bar? Like go to the park and just hang on a bar. Can you do it for 5 seconds?
Oh.
Can you do it for 10 seconds? Can you do it for 30? Maybe a minute? And so you just go up and up and up. So really, it's like choose your own challenge. It could really be for any age, which
so
is...
So it's not just like in the woods or in the desert with trees. It's actually outdoors, just anything outside.
Yeah, it's your body. It's
okay. Like
understanding your own body. It's giving them the tools to where they feel comfortable to do it on their own volition after the book is finished. It's just a little journal of 60 pages with some activities sprinkled in. But also there's some fun questions I put in there. Let me see if I can find one.
Are they funny?
Today's crazy question of the day is, if you had a pet rhino, what would its name be? Just like really weird stuff.
But you know what? That's how you engage kids. Yeah. That's how you engage kids of all ages, through humor and the fun little things that are unexpected. They love that. If it's dry, they're not going to want to do it. So kudos to you for honing in on what kids like, and adults, because I don't like dry stuff either.
And
I dry sense of humor. Does that count?
When I was talking with my publicists on this, or my publishers, I was like, I want to make all of, like SpongeBob is little, like, sometimes it's for the adults,
Yes, a lot of times.
I wanted to make all the activities like double meaninged, like funny for the adults, but also, and I couldn't get them all in there. I got a couple past them. So I got like this one, we're talking about birds, and I call it Birdie Business. There's one about finding your favorite stick, and I call it Getting Sticky, but like kids aren't gonna know, but we kind of. It's like, I don't know,
so
enough
funny.
for the kids.
That is funny.
But so stuff like that. But so it's kind of a mixture of just like your own body enablement, getting outside, and not being like a Coca-Cola iPad child, and just using your body. And then there are actually like involved activities like, hey, I lost my friend. He has 2 antennae, 3 parts of his body, and 6 legs.
Oh,
Can you find one? And that's, of course, I'm not going to say of course, because a lot of people don't know this, but that's like the qualifications for any insect to be qualified as an insect. So if they find any insect, they
have found their friend.
Found it. Yeah.
It's like sneaky learning, which we love.
I love this because so much we watch other people live their lives through a screen, and so this makes it forces children to come out and find that tangible thing and really connect with nature.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks. Look at that. Okay. You guys should walk around with me and advertise this with me.
Well, that's why we're doing
We've got this.
with you. We want to help promote. Okay, so your videos seem to have a lot to do with I love this.
Yeah.
I love that you gave me this question.
I know.
Primitive survival skills. We love this. I love this. How can homeschoolers use your material to weave into their homeschool curriculum? And what I mean by that, I was actually forward thinking, kind of. I love that you have a children's book because I have little ones at home. But maybe for the older ones
for the teen years.
We tried to teach a survival class one time in our homeschooling group, and it didn't go so well. It
had moments. It depends.
Okay,
we had moments.
But for example, the ancestral aspect, learning from our roots. So, do you have any plans how to tie this in, or have you? I mean, a lot of your videos have a lot of that survival primitive skill.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I have personally tried to separate them because of the extreme nature of survival, and I feel like, number one, if kids have 9/10 of the information about survival, that 10% still could hurt them, and I don't want to be that person that gives them bad opportunities to get outside. But also, I mean, I've been offered to be on every survival show under the sun, and I said no because, yes, I love the challenge of survival and bushcraft. I think that's fantastic. But my job is to like get people outdoors and love the outdoors, and if I'm doing that by taking away comforts from kids, that's where I think there's disconnect, for me at least. I mean, there's a lot of schools that end up doing, I think there's one called Tracker's Earth, if you've familiar with that, out in Portland. But they give kids bamboo and they have them make their own bows. They do like bushcraft classes outside.
Okay.
But I think it's all wrapped in the fact that like they're giving them PB&J sandwiches. Like they're doing
You're doing something dangerous in a very controlled and safe environment.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest challenge, is figuring out how to bridge that gap for me personally. But I err on the side of not doing survival with kids for that sake. I want them, if they if they had like a water gun fight outside and they felt the grass beneath their feet and they got comfortable in the park around their area, like, it's less about bushcraft and it's more about them finding a place to feel comfortable. That will grow into something eventually. But knowing that it's a pretty tough nut to swallow, like, to do that so young, at least from what I've found. I mean, I've tried to teach archery to like 4-year-olds, and I've done it. Like, it works.
Actually, it's funny because my husband, we run an archery program through our homeschool group, and
right on.
Our youngest was probably, I don't know, Zoe might have been 4 or 5.
5.
5 is because they start competing at 5. So like outdoors 3D is like 5. Pee-wees are 5 to 9. So we do have experience, and it is crazy. It's like, hey, Mom! No.
Face forward.
It's nuts. But for the older kids, like 14 and 15, when we send them off and we're like, hey, it's road trip time, please don't die, and they go to spend the evening in the mountains, which will happen.
Yep.
Some of those survival, like, don't just bring a tarp.
Bring a tent. Just saying. Bring a tent.
Yeah, exactly.
Or bring a tarp and have fun. I don't know.
Maybe bringing a tarp is the right way to go.
I don't know. It's tough. You probably just read my face while you were saying tarp. But, I mean, I know a lot of people that just bring a tarp.
They're
There's a certain level of skill that is required for that. And that's not a bad thing. It teaches you problem-solving skills.
Pitch the tarp up.
Exactly. I mean, if I was 5 and that's how my parents introduced me to camping, probably wouldn't want to go camping again. But,
but when you're 15, it's kind of fun.
When you're 15, it's a challenge. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I mean, I guess I was 16 when I got my Eagle Scout, so I was definitely doing some bushcraft before then. Yeah, it's all part of the challenge, but I think the name of the game for this whole thing is like that scaling that we're talking about.
Interesting.
But, no, I love survival. I think it's great. I just want my brand to be more like, hey, let's go on a walk today, instead of like, hey, let's survive in the alpine tundra with nothing but a fork, like,
and a bag of rice. Yeah.
So no Survivor Man. Gotcha.
Okay. Perfect. Well, can we go back up to this part?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
It's your podcast and my podcast.
So, all right. So, 6 to 8 hours is the average time a kid spends in school. I totally don't think I gave this to him, by the way. So this is just like, I'm throwing something at you. 26 minutes is the average amount of recess a first grader gets per day, okay? With the exception of PE and extra recess. And I think that I don't know, if you were a teacher like Christina and I, and we had the ability, and our principal was like, heck yeah, we did most of our classes outside. We were
I took my science.
Let's go outside.
Yeah, and I would take my teenagers. I taught high school. I would take them outside just to read on the grass because why not?
But I also taught at a tech school, so that was like my background, and we had iPad time. Like it wasn't our elective. So do you see yourself maybe kind of coming into the world of education? I'm talking like, and changing this, or is there any kind of want to try to change that mentality, because it does seem like we're going more and more toward that tech aspect, or is the pendulum swinging back?
I think having tech is super important, and not having tech is super important. So I mean, I don't know, when we were kids, I mean, at least when I was a kid, we had computer class, and then that's the only time we had a computer. Like the rest of the time, we were like pencil, paper, doing other stuff. I had like worms in my desk because I like to keep friends in my desk, and I was known as that kid.
Awesome! I know what kind of student he was.
My elementary friend,
your kind of student. Yes.
I would bring earthworms from outside and just keep them in my desk and watch them like during math class.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Probably all die. I don't know anymore, but like, so I would say yes. To answer your question, I think it is a huge part of where I think we're going to go as a society. Knowing that like probably it's hard to do like super intense math like on a lawn, but at the same time, every chance that you can get to exactly what you were talking about, like getting the kids outside for science class, sitting in a circle. I mean, experiential learning is the way. I mean, there's not like a what would I say? Like no one's arguing against that. Like experiential learning is the way to go. I think it's really slow in our institutions to actually install that. But if you're looking at the school systems now versus 60 years ago, I think we've made some progress, but
Okay.
I definitely think we have a long way to go with breaking up the factory structure of the classroom. But every time that I teach a class, regardless if it's like 2 people or 15 people, it's let's find a circle, like a nice spot outside where we can circle up and talk about something or critically think. And those are the classes that I definitely got the most out of, those critical thinking classes. That being said, I sucked at math growing up. I had tutors. I was the worst. I had panic attacks. I had to miss school because like, just I couldn't even think about how to do math. Like it was so challenging for me. And then like the more applied math came into play, like in high school, and that made more sense to me when it brought it into the real world. But understanding that you probably can't bring like struggling kids like me that had worms in their desks, you probably couldn't bring them outside to do math class.
Yeah.
Because you'd just be squirrel.
Figuring
Squirrel,
out that
everywhere.
line.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, every chance that you can do that with any of the soft or like partially experiential classes, yeah, getting those outside, even if it has nothing to do with the outside. Like all of my reading classes, we circled up on the benches outside and did stuff, and I think that's really where all this came from.
Yeah, because it was your favorite. I love it.
Yep. And that's the benefit of homeschooling is that we can do that. We
do
can
whatever we
take
want.
math class outside if we actually want to and
We can
do
Love
that.
Do it in the tree.
Right?
Okay.
All right. Well, I think this was awesome. I love that you are doing this. I think you're like totally on the right track of getting what you're trying to get across the
shelf
kids.
The idea of a potential high school survival notebook.
Fun,
down the road.
fun
But
stuff.
fun,
But
yes.
like, because the kids, like I'm telling you, like my kids loved all of the stuff that was just silly and fun.
Yes.
Like I'm never going to probably use a leaf for toilet paper,
I
but it
have
was
used a leaf
hilarious.
for toilet paper, so
I mean,
we can have this
I have to
conversation
actually,
after.
but my kids are like, I'm never going to. I'm like, don't say never, because maybe one day you're going to be out in the middle of like the backcountry in Yosemite, and you're going to need to.
Or
Just
like,
saying.
what do you use in Arizona when there's nothing but prickly things?
Sticks, rocks,
Yeah, sticks and rocks.
real
There we go.
smooth rocks, and very whittled down sticks, for
Yeah,
sure.
we might have to show the YouTube his
We're totally gonna have to-
Instagram one about what we're talking about because nobody's having an idea of why we're.
We'll
like,
we'll
so
add that
focused
in
on-
here. We'll link
Okay.
we'll link to your Instagram because your videos
Okay.
are awesome and very entertaining. And I think, like I said, the humor that you inject into what you're doing, whether it's your book or your videos, it appeals to people. It draws people in, and ideally, that's what we want: more people in
You're
nature,
doing
right?
a good job. Yes.
Thank you. I'm
love it.
trying.
Very
I'm trying.
cool.
I think, nature isn't some big bad monster, and you guys are doing a
No.
great job of making sure people know that, and I'm trying to do that too. So, here's to a fantastic new generation.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, and we'll put your book in our video.
Hold it up again.
And everybody
Oh,
needs
yeah,
to
hold
go
it up right
check
here.
out
My Epic Nature Journal.
Yep.
And check out his social media because it's super entertaining.
It'd be really cool because you could probably take that like road schooling too.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Like road
it's not
schooling.
super.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good little travel size, and you can really mess with it.
Good.
Great.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Anthony. We appreciate
All right, thank you
it.
so much, you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
We'll talk
All right,
soon.
fantastic.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Join the revolution, guys. We are 5 million homeschoolers in the U.S. and growing, breaking down the walls of institutionalized learning.
And remember, if you like what you're hearing, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and most importantly, share with others and help us get the word out about the beauty and freedom of homeschooling.
And speak up. Go grab yourself some cool merch that we designed while you're at it.
See you next time.